Hey everyone! So, like I said in my Jihoon episode, today we're diving into Choi Hyun-wook. In the Jihoon video, I talked about this literal entertainment elite who's been in the biz since he was 7. Even though I'm not usually big on that term, elite, you can check out that video to see exactly why I went with it for Jihoon. But today's Hyun-wook story, it's coming from a totally different angle. Let me kick things off with this adorable story about when director Yoo first ran into Hyun-wook. Picture this. Director Yoo, born in 1986, so this grown man in his late 30s, meeting Choi Hyun-wook, born in 2002, who was just turning 20 back then. Want to know what went down? Reading director Yoo's story about first meeting Hyun-wook brought such a vivid picture to my mind that I couldn't help but smile throughout. He described Hyun-wook as being right on that edge between boy and young man. He rolled into the office wearing this baggy basketball tank with his cap on backwards, and apparently he seemed way more shy than they figured. So there's director Yoo, the production company representative, director Han, and they're all shooting the breeze, right? And Hyun-wook just sits there, quietly grinning, going to town on this fried chicken like a whole chicken and a half. God, that must have been so cute. I bet Hyun-wook was probably just awkward being this young guy who'd barely hit 20, sitting with all these adult directors. I totally get it. When I'm nervous and uncomfortable in meetings, I just keep munching on whatever's in front of me without saying a word. That image stuck so hard that when director Yoo was putting together the Weak Hero script, he remembered how Hyun-wook could pack it away and decided to make Suho this total foodie. How sweet is that? I'm a massive fan of director Han Joon-hee, so I've binged Netflix's DP probably over 50 times.
Wow.
Along with Weak Hero, it's one of my go-to comfort shows, and I'd already caught Hyun-wook as this mysterious soldier in DP, such a killer performance that I already had him on my radar. Unlike with Jihoon, where I had zero clue who he was and felt like I'd hit the jackpot, when I first spotted him in Weak Hero, I was already hip to Hyun-wook. But just like Suho, I was too swamped making ends meet to dig into Hyun-wook's back catalog. It wasn't until I got completely hooked on Weak Hero that I started poking around his background and career. Turns out, Hyun-wook was originally a baseball prospect.
Wow.
From 4th grade elementary through his first year of high school, nearly 10 years of baseball. That explains his good physique perfectly, right? He was apparently so good that his high school baseball team was getting scouting offers. But at 17, an elbow injury made him give up baseball. Before the injury, he was known at school as baseball player Hyun-wook. My God, you know Suho in Weak Hero also had to bail on MMA because of an injury, right? That's quite the parallel, isn't it? Just like Suho was known as MMA fighter and the top dog at Byeoksan High, real-life Hyun-wook was the baseball guy. After his injury, he threw himself into rehab, but it just wasn't happening. After pouring over 10 years of his life into baseball, I can only imagine how crushing it must have been when the recovery didn't pan out. Well, sorry for going off on a tangent, but I personally have some concerns about how in Korea, when really young kids training to be celebrities don't make it as idols, adults often drop the ball on steering them toward backup plans. I know Hyun-wook's situation is different though, but instead of getting stuck in his feelings about an injury that wouldn't heal, Hyun-wook quickly started brainstorming his plan B. Hold up, this is another parallel with Suho. After Suho's injury, instead of hitting the bottle and going off the rails, he steps up as the family breadwinner, juggling 3 part-time gigs a week to support his grandma. The parallels between these two are wild. Let me dig deeper into real-life Hyun-wook's mental toughness and what he calls his Ghang, this Korean slang that hits different from basic courage. Ghang has more of a vibe of mental steel and unbreakable grit.
Okay.
This is how Hyun-wook talks about his Ghang. As time goes on, I keep thinking my sports background became such a huge asset for me. No kidding. Athletes naturally have better stamina, which also gets the blood pumping to the brain better, boosting mental focus and staying power. So Hyun-wook gets told by directors on every set that he's got good eyes. Good eyes? What they mean is his sharp, alert eyes just draw people in somehow. Exactly. Whether I'm watching Hyun-wook as the mysterious and sketchy soldier Ah-hui in DP, or as the guardian angel Suho looking out for Siwon when he's about to cross the line, the first thing that always grabs me are those razor-sharp, captivating eyes. You can see his sports-forged Ghang in those viewer-pulling eyes. He says athletics were this experience that pushed him to the breaking point. And through that grind, he built up this Ghang. But here's the kicker. Even this Ghang-powered Hyunwook had second thoughts when he first landed the Suho role. He wasn't sure he could pull off someone as cool as Suho. He honestly didn't even want to touch it at first.
No!
It wasn't that he didn't want the role, but the Suho in the script felt almost like someone you'd look up to. I actually bought and read through the entire Weak Hero script collection, and like most screenplays, the script dialogue felt way more dry compared to the show, especially Suho's lines.
Okay.
In the script, I personally felt Suho came across as much more straight up and fighter-heavy, so I totally get why he would feel intimidated looking at script Suho. Reading through his interviews, I learned that he even felt bummed out after that first table read. From what I gathered from various interviews, he actually burned massive energy on set, came home, and broke down sometimes. Am I doing this right? Am I nailing this? Even though he kept working hard, when he was alone, the doubts would come back. But check out the results. Who else could have nailed Suho, if not Hyunwook? I'm drawing a blank. I've got every single Suho moment from Weak Hero locked away in my heart. There's this behind-the-scenes story from that emotionally wrecking episode 7. You know, the one where you gotta hug a pillow and cry to get through it, when Suho goes back to MMA fighting in that gym boxing ring action sequence. Wow, it's a gut punch scene, but also my favorite action bit in the whole series. From what I've heard, they had to complete this entire sequence in 1 day. After Hyunwook threw his body around for over 10 hours, he was completely wiped and dehydrated. When director Yu yelled cut, he just crashed, spread eagle on the ring. The director was about to suggest taking a break, but this boy suddenly popped up, chugged water, and said he could go more rounds. Let's keep rolling.
Woo!
The next scene they shot was him getting worked over by Woo Young. Seeing him go from lying there like roadkill on the ring to instantly snapping back into On Suho, reading about director Yu's reaction to this moment and the emotions he felt, I could almost picture myself feeling that same rush of emotion that moved him to tears. That fire from the director and actors gets beamed straight to viewers watching Weak Hero. And I feel Hyunwook's drive every time I catch that scene.
Woo!
Watching his action sequences, his movements flow with this sleek, smooth precision. Watching Suho handle those scenes, I always think he'd kill it in a detective show. There's this upcoming Netflix original action series called Mantis with Hyunwook, but they're still keeping his role under wraps, which makes me even more curious. Based on its predecessor, Kill Bok-soon, I'm calling it like some fortune teller that he'll play this super slick, sophisticated bad guy in stylish action scenes. You know, when I dropped that Jihoon video, subscribers and I were chatting in the comments about how Jihoon, with his clear, big eyes, wanted to try villain roles. Maybe some brainy villain like John Doe in Seven. But I'm thinking the opposite. Hyunwook would be perfect as Detective David Mills in Seven, that young, hot-headed detective. Doesn't that fit like a glove? What kind of roles do you want to see Hyunwook tackle next? As he grows up, he'll probably get more grown-up scripts instead of high school uniform roles, right? And please, I hope he dips into noir. Am I asking for too much?
Yes.
I'd love to see him in a role where he just goes ballistic with rage. Such a killer character type. What I found really interesting was listening to director Yu talk about how rather than when Hyunwook is cute and pretty, he's more into when his character is hurting, struggling, going through hell, or heartbroken. Oh snap, did he read my mind? I also dig seeing Hyunwook in roles with sad eyes and baggage, or even bleeding, rather than playing some rich boy. Suho in Weak Hero also seems upbeat and tough on the surface, but he's really just a 17-year-old kid with loneliness eating at him. The family breadwinner holding it down for his grandma all by himself. This perfectly sets up why I found Hyunwook's take on Suho's presence in Weak Hero so compelling. If you think about people around us, there are those who get respect everywhere without breaking a sweat, right? I had buddies like that back in school, too. Phew. Unlike bullies who pick on people to flex their power, or smoke to look tough, or try to show off on purpose, Suho doesn't pull any of that. Just through Suho's natural vibe, Hyunwook nailed this kid who's naturally at the top of the teen food chain. Someone with this line you just don't cross. Watching Suho, I thought he was a kid with serious self-confidence. I might be going way too deep here, but I once told a subscriber, Korean teenagers face intense academic pressure, so if you're not crushing it in school during your teens, it's tough to have solid self-esteem, because everything at school gets ranked by grades, and Korean society struggles to show teens life paths that aren't just studying. But Suho's confidence is through the roof. Like real-life Hyunwook, Suho in the show grew up as a fighter, and I think that physical strength is what props up his self-esteem. I see these detailed touches as what makes Weak Hero's direction so slick. There's this scene where all three main characters show what they're missing. Shiun shows his lack of a mom, Boomsuk shows his need for Suho's approval, and Suho shows his money problems. The YouTube video Suho's watching in that scene is about real estate investing. A teenage boy already thinking about real estate? It breaks my heart, like I'm Suho's mom, but also shows this maturity of quickly picking up on the world's harsh rules and rolling with them, which might be another piece of teen Suho's confidence puzzle. Hyunwook killed it, portraying this confident yet still goofy 17-year-old who piles food sky high and adores his friends. Hyunwook's script tweaks are really sick too. His on-set improvisations are well known among fans. My favorite of his script changes is this.
나 방금 잠에서 깬 수호천사 같은 거. 부족한 반사.
Originally, the script said guardian deity instead of guardian angel. Suho literally means to protect in Korean. We've got both guardian angel, which is Suho Chunsa, and guardian deity, which is Suho Sin in Korean. But in that scene, guardian angel was more Suho-like than guardian deity. Hyunwook's improv made it an even more Suho-esque joke. For a newbie who's only been acting for a few years to improvise differently from the script, around veteran directors and seniors, that couldn't have been easy. This is another This Boy's Grit shows through his boldness. It's well known that not just in Weak Hero, but from what I've read in interviews, Hyunwook also actively tried to voice his ideas during DP filming as well. Reading about how Son Suk-gu, who worked with him in DP, after filming that high-tension, spark-flying sequence between Jisop and Ahui on that isolated GP island, he found Hyunwook chilling in the night air looking relieved, and asked, "Why are you so damn good at acting?" Brought a smile to my face. This wasn't just some nice compliment. It was props for how this rookie with barely any acting chops throws himself into characters on set and naturally brings out their traits through raw talent. After falling head over heels for Hyunwook through Weak Hero, I started scarfing down all his interviews and working through his filmography piece by piece. I got this strong vibe that he's got this instinctive feel, awareness, and gift for expression when it comes to acting. But that doesn't mean he just coasts on natural talent without putting in work. At last June's Muju Mountain Film Festival fan talk, Hyunwook spilled that while most people think his improvs just pop up out of nowhere on set, he actually preps them at home beforehand. The person who caught both this prep work and the hidden grind behind his tears of pressure after Weak Hero Freeman Sing sessions was actor Hong Kyung. My favorite story in this context? There's a scene in DP where Ahui smokes a cigarette. Hyunwook, playing Ahui, had this idea for how to smoke more stylishly. But as such a newbie, it would have been tough to confidently pitch that idea to the production team. So Hyunwook deliberately messed around with the lighter he'd used to light the cigarette, according to his idea, hanging around director Han to try to get his concept across. Director Han picked up on it. It's such a behind-the-scenes story that shows Hyunwook's love for his character. One more behind-the-scenes story I love from Weak Hero filming, actually one of my favorite sequences overall. It's that karaoke scene where things get heated between Suho and Bumsuk, where Suho grabs Bumsuk by the collar, and Bumsuk, knowing it'll hurt Suho, spits out, "Are you showing off to me right now? Should I cover your part-time job wages instead?" And we see Suho's face completely crushed by those words. Hyunwook actually said this was the most brutal scene for him. From a viewer's perspective, the tension between the three was off the charts. After filming this scene, the three felt like their amped up energy couldn't chill out. So director Yo told them to step out and get some air. The three went for a walk around Hongik University, sharing fried chicken and beer to decompress. I'm obsessed with this behind-the-scenes story. That tension going ballistic from the trio was felt completely by viewers. I saw it as the psychological peak for the three characters. If viewers could feel that intensity, imagine what it was like for the actors actually living it. And I love how they cooled down their emotions like young people would, with chicken and beer in a college area.
현욱이랑 지훈 배우랑 같이 이렇게 셋이서 그 노래방 그 시퀀스를 찍고 셋이 막 그
치킨 먹었죠. 그죠?
Now, let's jump to our remaining topics. The Weak Hero fandom is rock solid with deep love for the work. I've seen many comments from people saying they watched Weak Hero Class 1 3 years ago and still can't break free from the fandom. And interestingly, it seems like the actors' love for Weak Hero runs just as deep as the fans, especially Ji-hoon and Hyun-wook. Hyun-wook has already shown his love for Suho through many opportunities. When Weak Hero Class 1 was getting made, it involved a rookie director and mostly rookie actors, so nobody saw this work's success coming. But as Hyun-wook shared, during Weak Hero filming, he was so passionate about this work and the Suho character that even if the ratings completely failed, he was determined to give his absolute best. 3 months ago, after randomly stumbling across Weak Hero on Netflix, I dropped this post. Reading not just about Weak Hero, but all of Hyun-wook's interviews one by one, I found myself asking, when was the last time I tackled something with that young spirit of, failure doesn't matter, I just want to give my best shot? Nobody expected it to blow up, but rookie director and rookie actors came together to create a compelling work with pure passion. That experience definitely left Hyun-wook with huge inspiration and lasting impact. So everyone, how was today's story? Hyun-wook was a kid who had to give up sports due to injury and switch to acting. This teenager with his baseball player energy, that pure face of our first love, combined with a killer physique? I'm so excited about actor Choi Hyun-wook's future. He's still young, with so much more to show us. I want to happily follow his growth journey. In the next video, I hope Netflix's Mantis drops so I can review his action. Feel free to drop your thoughts about this podcast in the comments and let me know what kind of roles you'd like to see Hyun-wook tackle next. See you next time!